full moon, and either you feel your world falling apart or falling together. And we're going to be talking about what happened since last Monday and what's going to be going on this week coming up in Astro Monday. Astro Monday, Chris Witecki has been absolutely right every single moment of every day, all the way for the last almost a year since we've been doing this. And super powerful. When you come in, can you do me a favor, add a comment? In that comment, I want you to put down what your sun, your moon, and your rising is. If you know your degree, put it in there as well. And give us a whole bunch of likes. For some reason, I think somebody's playing around with our algorithm. I think we have to check something because did this to me this morning. The lives have been brought down. Wow. And let me know as you're coming in, did you get a notification for this live? And yeah, did you get a notification live? Put down your sun, your moon, your rising. Whoa, this is super slow. Guess we're gonna have to do this the old way. We're gonna have to tell everybody ourselves. We're gonna have to create a reminder link for everybody who wants to. Yes, because it's crazy, crazy slow. Look at that number up there. That would normally be 250, 300. No, no. No notification links. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for letting me know. We'll have to see what's going on there. I have a feeling. Block the message, right? Welcome. Come on in. Sun, moon, rising, put it in the comments. Give me a bunch of likes. Hit this button and send it out to a bunch of friends, please. No notifications. Wow. Okay. Well, here's how we override that. Give me a bunch of likes. Hit that button down there, the little arrow that goes like that. Send this out to a friend. Send it out to someone you know. That will actually force notifications to go out. If you guys can do that all for me. And in the comments there, put down your sun, your moon, and your rising. Yes, what we're doing is Astro Monday. Astro Monday. And we're waiting for Christopher Witecki. Well, it's been a weird, it has been a weird couple of days, hasn't it? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get Christopher Witecki. Finding out. Okay, cap 24. Oh, and if you guys are feeling it, we've gone from 26 degree in a few minutes to 27. 26, it was kind of grouchy and crabby. And we're moving to 27 degree, which is going to be like people want to get stuff done. And if you're feeling that energy already, are you feeling it already? Yeah, we're just checking on Mr. Christopher Witecki. He's been traveling in time zones too, so we're just making sure he's got the right time zone. Sun, moon, and rising. 24 Leo sun. Wow, lots of 24s. 24 is a Libra number. And 22 degree Leo. 22 is interdimensional. There's Christopher Witecki. There we go. Whoa. Hello, Mr. Witecki.
Hello, sir.
Whoa, look at, see that number up there?
59?
They're not sending any notifications out. I'm
Wow.
working on it. I just happened this morning. So
Wow.
it could be platform, it could be a glitch. I don't want to read into it, but
Yeah.
but it is on after a full moon, and it is on a 26 degree karmic crabby grouchy day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I felt that grouch. I've been grouchy all day. Well, it's just, I think, it's a combination of Scorpio and and I think again, and Saturn,
Right.
you know, the two bitchiest things there are is Capricorn and Scorpios. You know what I mean? So they combine forces, and you got yourself people drawing some hard lines. This is what I'm picking up, or they need to
Yeah.
drop some zeros.
Drops and zeros. Yes.
That's how I put it.
So,
Yeah, drop some zeros.
so I mean, this moon. Can you grab some things? This moon has been one of the. I wouldn't say it's one of the most craziest. Um, oh, okay. People are starting to come back. Hey, if you're new coming in, can you tell me if you're being notified, please? Sun Libra, Melissa. Are you a 29-degree Libra? Melissa Credle? If you're a 29-degree Libra, can you please contact me afterwards with a copy of your chart? I have a group for you. If you're in our group that, sorry, didn't recognize you. So this, oh, they're getting a notification. Oh, okay. Okay.
It's coming a little
It's a
later.
platform glitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I didn't want to read into it. Like, I don't want to say that the arms are there because didn't get. No, I wasn't. I was not notified. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys were notified, Keith, put in notified, not notified. Oh, yes, you were. Okay, interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to just describe some things. I mean, I had one of the most prolific moons that I've ever had. Like, things radically shifted for me, and I mean, I had, I mean, I'm talking about the people. I think I told you I was out there seeing the head of one of the major studios, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and I had a moment with him because he's a 21 degree Aries,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my rising.
Mm-hmm.
And his father is a net three Grandmaster Sagittarius, who he was dealing. So that was some karma, but
Mm-hmm.
I had all of these. It was like all of these things were manifesting, and it was like it's like bullets are being thrown at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and the trick for me was not to respond to anything, and
Mm-hmm.
then look through the bullets to find all these things. And it was crazy. Like I'll tell you, I told it earlier today. We're doing this deal with Giselle's Vegan Bakery, and we saw Scott Lazar. He's a 0 degree Cancer. We went. He's a famous actor. He's got a diagnosis of ALS, and we were working him through. And then we got 3 hours on the road, went down Orange County. We walked into Giselle's, who's a Taurus, and three Tauruses that have not talked to me in over a year called me that day.
Wow.
And then we're on the way down. We were talking about my background, my incarceration, how I felt, how I got to where I was today.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad comes in, he's a 21 degree Cancer. Again, all these 21s coming. Her mom's 28 degree Pisces, my Chiron. And then we baked, we did the filming, and we left. And I got a message from my Grandmaster Cancer, or sorry, Capricorn, that said, "Hey, I just was looking for a friend, and I've been trying to get a hold of him for a year. He just messaged me now. He was incarcerated for a year in solitary confinement, and they let him out falsely accused. And
Whoa.
he just messaged me now, and it made me think of you." And I'm like, "Well, that's a shot of karma." And then we're driving from basically from Lake Forest area up to True Foods in Fashion Island, and I look up, and we're driving right by the house where I was arrested.
Whoa. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the kind of thing. And then all these people were coming in, like heads of studios and all this stuff to help us. And that was my weekend. It was all this stuff coming at me personally and otherwise, and all of this breakthrough stuff at the same time.
Interesting. Um, well, I think that the full moon represented us releasing a relationship we had to the future, like a future timeline that was in progress, that was manifesting, or perhaps an incomplete one that had not been finished, but like the bridge was halfway built and kind of cut off. And the apex of the full moon actually, this is a moon that like sort of lingered. I found, like you said, through the weekend because it apex technically, let me get the exact time. It apex on Friday at like 4:30 on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But I
PM?
experienced
PM, right?
PM Eastern time.
Yeah.
4:28 p.m. Eastern Time on
Yeah.
Friday the 15th at step 24. And there's a series of step 24 actually full moons that happen. They keep going on.
Yeah.
So we're
Wasn't it
going to
like
continually,
3 or 4 full moons at 24 or something?
it's at least four. I know that there's six nines. I think there's 4 24s. Yeah.
And didn't we have like a bunch of new moons at 20 or something like that
The new moons
recently?
are all at nine.
Or at
There's
9?
six new moons at nine.
Yeah.
6 months of new moons at nine. Yeah. So that's activating yourself and yourself and yourself. Let go of the relationship you had to the future in the other areas. And
So
so we were
would you say that in a timeline, if I was to navigate this, coming to a world stage again with what we're doing, there's a timeline where I could have gone back to where I was and I'm letting that go?
what do you mean really going back 100% or just felt it for a few minutes?
Well, I mean, I was aware of it and felt it, but I had all the memory of it driving by and stuff like that. But it was
Right.
releasing me from a timeline, like a a
Mm.
loop.
It was releasing your emotional attachments to your timeline.
Right. Okay. That would make sense
To be more
because
specific.
yeah,
Yeah.
because when I looked up and I was driving by the house where the feds came in, I'm like, I had this whoa, because I wasn't prepared
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
I was just doing
Yeah.
my. I looked up and I go, oh, there I was.
Yeah. Yeah. And did any emotion come up or feelings?
Actually, it was really weird. It normally I would get like when something like that happens, I get a like an old fear that would come up or something like that, and I would just rationalize it. It was like
Mm.
a whole lot of nothing burger. Like this whole
Mm.
weekend, all this stuff that was coming at me was like a whole lot of nothing burger. I could see it, but I didn't have the actual emotion. I was witnessing it, but
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I mean, that's ultimately, 24 nets to a six, which means that the idea there or the ideal is no resistance. So,
and I have a
uh,
24 Libra in Mars too.
Mars 24 Libra, so that's a very neutralizing Mars. That's basically a peacemaker, someone who is trying to always get to a place of no resistance, where you're not resisting and they're not resisting, that both parties are not resisting, right?
Yeah, that's been the theme of it. Is it? Yeah, Cynthia's
Mm.
laughing because no resistance, no attachments, no resistance. For me, attachments are resistance right now.
Yes, I would say so. If you're attached, you are resisting, you're holding on for some reason, you're not letting it flow on its own. You don't trust that the bird will come back, so to speak. So,
Yeah,
sort of the open hand bird approach, if it flies away and comes home, then, it's meant for you, right? So, in the same sense, if you just open up and you find that you're at peace and there's no issues, then the karma is complete because the karma can be measured by the resistance. The more resistance you have to the idea or the feeling, the more attachment you have to
that,
the issue.
that's a really good way. I mean, if I take one thing from today, I think it's going to be the karma can be measured by the level of resistance.
Yes, completely.
So if
So,
I have less resistance, that means that as I have, because I have the same events that come up, but each time I have less resistance or less action against it.
yeah, totally. If you're just totally okay with it, then you're allowing the universe. I mean, you're no longer interfering with the universe in a primitive way. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we want to energetically control our lives, not hands on. And
Mm-hmm.
so the resistance is at hands on, which then creates, inflammation, all that stuff you always say, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I think that, for me, like for instance, I would say ended a couple, not ended, at least put on pause some major relationships in my life. And I had no resistance to it. I just did not care. Like nothing in
Yeah.
me was wrong with it. Whereas before we go back and forth, no, you should, and this, and that, now it's just like, okay, I'm so relieved. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, the resistance was gone, and so then there was relief because the pain was really me with me caught in the situation. They don't care. They weren't. There's me being like, "Oh, what should I do?" The pain was that I was caught between two worlds. So as soon as it was no longer an issue and I had no resistance, um, I just allowed it to flow. You know. So I experienced that in a couple areas.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, where other things just
Yeah.
go.
I could feel that, and at the same time, I had these openings. Like the head of a studio was like, "You've transformed my life. You've helped me. I see this. I'm now doing this, and I want to
Mhm.
help you."
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Any resistance?
No resistance to the help.
Yeah, totally. That's great. So, I think we belong on the path of least resistance
Yeah.
always. So whenever you're making any choice, if you have like four choices and one is not ideal, but it's okay, but it doesn't matter to you, it's not an issue. That's the path to take, even though it's okay. I mean, even though it's not fantastic or it's fabulous, like a lot of times, God consciousness is actually very calm, and so if you're really excited, like super excited about something, chances are it's the wrong path.
You know,
Um, the
I say this to people like when I'm teaching about the body and that I said, if you're in fear, you're not in God. But also, if you're heavily in love, you're not in God. If you're in observance, you are because the, I use the example: the person who's in fear won't see that the partner is there to help them. The person who's
mm,
in love won't see that the partner is going to hurt them because both of those are not present. But when I bring myself into presence and neutrality, presence is my state of being with Creator, with God.
mhm, yeah, the oneness, and it's peaceful. I mean, true love is quiet.
Yeah.
Um, is really the truth. I mean, you feel it, but you don't. It's not like overwhelming you, exciting you, throwing you over the top. When you're that giddy and stuff, you just swung from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like in relationships, the people, things, or whatever. You come in really excited and not excited, really excited, not excited, less excited, but and not excited, and it's narrowing back into that space. But
Yeah.
I definitely in my own life, I definitely have. It's the feeling of resistance. Like when I feel resistance, I know that it's something that needs to change, or something. No,
Mm-hmm.
not needs. It's something I want to change. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to change. It's something I want to change.
Yeah, something you seek to,
So he said,
for sure.
I feel called out.
I would even say not even want, Gary, because wanting brings wanting.
Yeah,
Um,
fair statement. Yeah,
seek
yeah,
seek to change. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If you want to get anal about it. So
So,
yeah. So we
so
go
what's
ahead.
your life been like over the weekend?
Well,
It
I
had to have been really,
returned.
really charged, right?
Yeah, it was I flew from Denver, my family, back to Palm Springs. So, but from one chaos to another, you know, because there's so much I can't do professionally when I'm out there in Denver. So things build up that are on my plate. So unfortunately, there's the realization that I'm not. For me, one of the realizations I had was in my relationship to the future is there has to be less. I have to be more in peace day to day.
Yeah.
That 24/6 to me, the 24/6 lesson to me was like, okay, I like things just to glide now. I do not want the uphills, the downhills, the turns. I'm cool with it. Just kind of, like a parade, like Macy's parade. Just
Is
move
that is
by.
that why I've always been because my 24 Libra in my Mars is that's why I've always been trying to through my life to articulate like moving fast without having friction like I don't care what happened, let's just move on.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and it's all the I did, we did, this didn't happen, this is gonna happen again. That's all the stuff that really agitates me. I don't for me, even with businesses, it's like, okay, it all failed, let's just move on.
Yeah, I've actually had those conversations too, where it's like people are they kind of they want to bring up the past, and this happened, and this has happened, and this has happened. Therefore, I don't know about the future. And I'm like, well, no, this needs to happen, and this needs to happen. Like turning around to what needs to happen in the future for it to go well versus focusing on in the past what didn't go well. Right.
Right.
That's been a constant I've had over the weekend too.
Okay.
In fact, yeah, where I had those conversations. I mean, I would say, yeah, it was difficult conversations all weekend long. You know, um, but I myself was at peace.
Yeah, fair statement. I felt that.
Yeah, I was tired. I was tired of repeating myself. Things like that. But for the most part, I wasn't panicking. You know, and
There
there's
you're
been a
repeating
couple of times where the other thing too is the peaceful way, is the way that you get real connection and relationship to the universe, right? So you stay in that peace. And there was a couple of times around my plane taking off and coming back where it looked really bad that I would miss it. You know what I mean? Like things weren't going well. And that's just because of the nature of things leading up to that. And long story short, I just kept the peace inside, and everything just went perfectly. It just all
Yeah,
fell into
I had a
perfect place.
situation yesterday, or not, it was today we got up. Yeah, so it was yesterday night we got on a plane on the red eye coming into, oh, night before last, on Saturday night. And I went to, everything kind of, it was a long day. It was that Saturday. And then I got to the airport and I got there plenty early. And I don't go through biometric scanners. I
What do
just,
you
I,
do?
I know enough. I know that they say, well, it's got less radiation than a cell phone. I said, it's not the radiation, dude. You're all gonna find out that those scanners are doing something to you. And
Mm.
so I don't go through. I go for a pat down. And Cynthia and I stood there literally for 40 minutes
Wow.
and I'm like, I had lots of time, but I was calmly asked a couple times. Normally I'd be, hey, get a freaking supervisor, like, but I decided I'm gonna sit in this. I'm gonna observe it. I'm not gonna get angry. I'm not gonna get frustrated. And I just waited, and it was 40 minutes
Wow.
for them to get us. And I'm like, okay, there's a reason this is happening. I have the time. I'm gonna sit in the reason.
Yeah. Interesting. And what was the reason, do you think?
Well, the reason simply is the way I feel about it,
Mm.
my
Mm.
reaction to it,
Mm.
and normally I get more and more frustrated. In the head, why is this happening here? What's going on? Is there something going on I don't know about?
Mm.
Why the whole thing of what is this lesson? Why do I got to figure out? And I'm just like, okay. And I sat there. I stood there for 40 minutes, or we stood there for 40 minutes, and
Wow.
it was a bizarre. It was the whole thing was super bizarre. And then again, at every stop, karmic things. You go into the airport lounge, and the last three times I went to the airport lounge, it was a karmic thing that ended up transpiring into something that's moving us forward like really big.
Huh. That's interesting. The same lounge? You saying the
Same
same
airport,
same
same
airport? Okay.
airport, different lounges, but
Right.
but it was like the last time we met with these guys that own a bunch of golf courses, and we're doing a deal with them in February to do this golfing program,
Wow.
and and then this time it's like we're going to the Philippines, and
Mm.
a Sagittarius who was following us came up to the lounge, and she lives in Singapore, but she's from the Philippines. She's like high-end banking contacts, all,
Mm.
all the things that we need when we're over there, because we're building networks over there, and like stuff like that's been happening quite a
Mm. Interesting. I haven't been out enough
bit.
of the house. I'm not meeting new people. I'm kind of caught in my bubble. I'm deep in my bubble. But also, the sun's in Scorpio, the earth is in Taurus, and so us Tauruses are manifesting like crazy right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
and so
the amount
would you
of
say that you're
output.
manifesting whatever's going on up here?
I'm man. No, I'm manifesting the next chapter, and
Yeah, but
trying
I
to keep the
mean,
old.
not you, but I mean other Tauruses. If you got negative thoughts, negative self-talk, you're
Oh yeah,
manifesting.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're dwelling in the negative, or you're remaining attached to an outcome, you know, my famous saying is good or gooder. Like I'll take two choices, God, good or gooder, and gooder isn't a word, so there's no attachments to it. Spell attachments, and I just take that perspective and stay in that perspective. I think what happens is that a lot of people get derailed, especially Tauruses right now, because they get less than good, and they start to go, "Oh no, it's going against what I want. I'm not getting what I want." So it's like, okay, therefore you are not going to get what you want. Like the universe just sort of tricks you into sabotaging it, because you get attached to it. It's not working, right?
Hmm.
And for me, I was in those moments with catching a plane and whatnot. I was like, there will, I feel I belong on that plane, and I feel that there will be something that happens for me that does not happen for everyone, right? And there's a few things, there's just little things, but it was interesting to see it. It was interesting.
So I mean, you have all the numbers. You know what's going on. Um,
Hmm.
how does that impact you? Like people who are on this call maybe don't have all the context around it, but you do. How does that make you feel or act through it better?
Well, I'm finally at a point where I use it. Like for a long time I taught it but didn't use it. So now I will literally, sometimes because I'm so caught in my space-time bubble, I won't even know what step it is, until something goes wrong. And then I'm like, okay, what's the step number? Where's the moon? I want to know quickly, where are we? And then play the energy. It's interesting. Actually, it's kind of a burden knowing it all because you don't get any like time where you think, I don't know what to do. I always know what to do. It's just now I have to do. I always have to do it. I mean, when you know what you have to do, then it shifts. And
Yeah.
when you can say to say like, I don't know what to do, well, you can just sort of put it off because you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
With the step system in this, you know what you have to do, so there's no putting it off unless you choose to. You know, so it's
Yeah. I
interesting
mean,
that
that's
way.
I think that's where your messages come in daily because irrespective of what they are, sometimes it's just interesting, but sometimes I'm like, okay, I know I can change or I can act or respond a different way because I have context around the situation. That's what your app has done for me over the last 7 years.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I think the context helps so much. In fact, that's what the app does for everyone. I think is reframe. Like allow you to have, as soon as you have, even if it's my perspective or Sirius perspective is not the one you want to take, the fact that you were invited to a different one gave you your power back.
Yeah.
Because at
Sure,
that
sure.
point you're owning what you're gonna, you're owning what you're gonna believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
So
Not aware and reacting is means you're living somebody else's timeline, whether it's yours from another one or otherwise. Yeah.
yeah, totally. Or the car, no one's got their hands on the car's just swerving. Kind of
So
thing. Yeah.
let's go through the week here. I'm
Okay.
super curious. I mean, I can feel it. I can like we're about to turn into 27, and I can feel it happening now.
Oh yeah, you will. I mean, I can feel it too, just because I can tell you the 27 things I have to do after this call. Like it was already. I had booked 27 4 days ago. What I mean? It's so funny how it all lines up. But 27 is, well, I'll tell you this. This is advice to myself. Chances are because Taurus is abundance and Earth is in Taurus, so this is the most abundant time of the year, really. Ironically, and the reason why it's the most abundant time of the year, even more than Taurus, is because the Scorpio is allowing you to make cuts, leaving room for more, right? And then Taurus creates this expectation of more and more and more abundance, like as far as it'll grow, as high as it'll grow, that type of thing. So 27 is what you feel and sense, what you feel and sense. And right now, I have competing things like this person needs this from me, this person needs that from me. Which one do I do? Like, what is the one that's going to win the day? It's what you feel and sense you should do. And I keep telling people this is a time where your mind does not have any data on where you're going. No data, never. Like, there's no time in history where we had descended and come back up, right? So there's no data, there's no past life stuff. You just might as well put on a blindfold and just feel and sense your way through, everything you're gonna do. If you both feel and sense you should do it, do it. If you don't feel and sense both, like I feel it but I don't sense it's right, stop. Take it off your plate, move it to another day, or it'll appear at the right time. A lot of times when you don't feel and sense it, you'll find out later it's because, oh, well, so and so hadn't done their homework anyways. That would have been a wasted call. You find out that you are, in fact, being guided to the path of least resistance because this is what you feel and sense. And so I think the next 24 hours to 27 are probably the most important. This is more important than step 29 this month. This is the most important of the final wrap up of Scorpio because you're making that final call. There won't be time enough for everything. And so you're going to have to go with what you feel and sense.
Right.
Right. Then we go to step 28 on Wednesday, hump day, of course. And that's where we then manifest. That's in that 10. That 10 is Earth. And so the Earth is, in the Earth is ruled by Earth, right? In that sense, in the sign of Earth. And so that's when we start to gel and manifest the structure of our new chapter, where we're going next. And that structure is based on yes, I'll do windows, no, I won't do floors. You have these yes, nos, which are your boundaries. And so we start to gel into these new boundaries Wednesday and get comfortable with them. And just this is what I feel comfortable with, right? Again, how you feel. What's the most comfortable? Then we go to 29, and that's a little helter skelter chaos, where you might get that phone call like, "Are you sure?" It's so funny. We recently changed, payroll companies, and so we changed out, retirement stuff. And it's like we told them no that we don't want to stay with them. I can't tell you how many times, and they still call like, "Are you sure you don't want to stay with us? Yes, we were sure the first 10. But step 29 is sort of that thing. It's like, are you sure you don't want to get wrapped up with your ex again? Are you sure you don't want to, are you sure you don't? So like one final temptation. And usually that temptation is, we'll cut off 30%. They come back to the table with something where they've given, right?
So it'd be tempted. Step 29 is going to be tempted on Thursday.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
29
I feel
Thursday.
that. Being a 29, I think kind of my whole life is like that.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah, yeah. That's true. Everything's already sure.
Yeah, are you sure? You sure?
Gary's like, every time we make something on the computer, it's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? You sure you want to do that? So then we go from 29 Scorpio to 0 Sag. And that happens really on, technically it happens on Thursday at 12:56, so that's 2:56 p.m. Eastern time. So right now we're having a step change right in the afternoon, right after lunch, here in the United States, which you can feel, I'm probably feeling 27 right now. Um, and the 0 Sag is interesting because if you did your homework this year and you faced all your shit, then you know what to believe. You know, it's going to be a real question mark. And so I just want to tell everyone out there, if you find yourself in a place where you're like, I don't know what to believe, then you're in the right place. Because if you know what to believe, like 100% about everything, particularly yourself, then you're operating the old timeline.
Right.
Because we knew the old time, we don't know the new one. It does mean that you're going to sort of, be working on blind faith in the sense of, well, I believe this is supposed to happen. No, there's no evidence for that whatsoever. You don't have that on your resume. Why would you believe that? My heart feels it's true, right? That's 1 to 2 makes that 3. So the next chapter, the first chapter of Sagittarius is, the old story of like, am I crazy? People go, am I crazy? Or is this going to happen? This is sort of like, yes, you are. Technically, if you compare yourself to the old system, you are crazy. And nothing. So there's a rite of passage. I think it's going to happen in this first chapter of Sagittarius, where you're going to have to go out on a limb in some cases, not publicly. You don't have to tell the world, but inside, at that boardroom or at that church, that you're the only one who is not crazy, but they all think you're crazy, right? So there's an awkward moment, right? Right.
Yeah, I'm laughing
You're
because
being gaslit.
I feel that going up, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's already happening. I mean, I'm just trying to find a way to handle it with grace. Because there's a lot of people who are stuck in the old timeline. They're starting to think that I'm crazy. And to some degree exiting and stuff like that because he doesn't get it, right? In some cases, so what's the strategy when you come across that? And for me, it has been, you may be right. Just at that day, I don't believe it inside myself at all. But I'm not giving explainers or disclaimers anymore. Where I used to be like, no, this is gonna happen. This is like I would try to convince. Now I'm just gonna let the law of attraction just sweep, pull them off stage because they will be pulled off stage one way or another. And I will say this: if you hold still and if you don't like invest in the conflict, then they'll take the rap to the person.
Yeah, for sure.
If you invest in the conflict, like I'm telling you, and you try to convince them, if you try to convince them, you will take the rap. So
Yeah, that's a really good point because I felt that even in public media and stuff like that,
Mhm.
I've been like, okay, because I've had a lot of opportunities and I felt this no fight for the first time in my life. I don't want to convince, which my whole life I want to convince everybody of everything.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah. I mean, I think what happens is it's not that you were convinced, but there were times in your past lives where you were wrong. And so there's this memory of being wrong. And so we tend to try to convince really to heal the old memory.
Yeah.
We are already convinced. So people saying, what are you trying to prove to me or you? Right? You're not trying to prove to yourself. You are convinced, but you're not convinced that it won't go down like it did last time.
Yeah.
Right? Uh, so what I'm finding what you're saying is like just let people believe what they want to believe. Like don't interfere with that and let them. They will find a reason why you're crazy and go.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I actually prefer that because now I'm not to blame. As far as giving up or whatever. and they have to go off and allow them to have that. So I think the hard part of the next 10 days, what I'm getting at, is the just the ability to smile and go, oh, okay, like and just stay quiet in that moment, and just know in your heart, in my heart, I'm like, oh shit, but I think they're saying the same thing to me, right? But this is part of, I think, the final, because belief is interesting, Gary. It's like we just had Scorpio, where we cut the line like you're crazy, or you're on the struggle bus, or you're, so we sort of, we label, we put a circle around it, zero, and we separate ourselves from that person.
Yeah.
But then in Sag, there's this magical thing where, but if you believe, then it can happen, right? So there's this moment where in Sagittarius, many moments where you go, I can overcome this. Like you sort of cheerlead and say, I can overcome the obvious I saw in Scorpio if I just believe, right? And so we can get sucked back into the narrative, the old narrative. So what I'm saying is you're not out of the high waters yet. Just because your Scorpio says, this is insane and this is insane. And Sag goes, but if you believe, maybe it's not insane. Like to overwhelm, does that make sense? Or to override the matrix?
For sure.
So we get so we're gonna be in temptation land, with all the beliefs. And to make it more complicated, we have Mercury stationing retrograde, which means you'll not be in your right mind during this transit, so you will lose.
When does Mercury go into retrograde?
On November 25th at 9:42 p.m. Eastern time.
Whoa! Yes. So I can prepare. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Oh, totally. And Mercury is at 22 Sag, and Mercury is, and its station's directed 6 Sag. So what that means is, so I always believe that where Mercury starts and ends are basically 2 questions that have to be answered in the retrograde, right? Everything in between is trying to answer those questions. 22, where it starts, 22 Sag, is like, where do I belong? What storyline do I belong in the future? Like you're asking yourself, what storyline do I belong in the future? With what story, with what narrative, with what school of thought, with what belief structure? And of course, it's what you feel you belong, where your heart belongs is the answer. But it's the mind that's the problem, that's the culprit, right? The mind has to be reprogrammed. It's all been programmed to believe one thing, that you belong one place. And so what you're up against is your own programming. Even though the rest of your soul feels it, your mind's still arguing all the time. So Mercury retrograde is sort of, once you feel I think the first part of Mercury at 22 is, I don't feel I belong in this story anymore. So we detach and we realize we don't belong in this particular story. The story might be where the earth ends, or the earth is flat, or it's all a conspiracy, whatever. There's a story you don't feel like you belong with. But then the mind's like, well, then I don't know what to believe. Like, what do I believe? What do I do? Well, that's the retrograde. We're going all the way back. And we're sort of looking through, like, letting go. The mind's letting go of false beliefs, self-limited beliefs, beliefs that we just adopted blindly by our parents, or religion, or government, or propaganda. And so we're basically, pooping out beliefs, old beliefs, as Mercury retrogrades. And then it goes to 6, the station direct degree. And it's like, well, what do you believe the relationship to yourself needs to be? Is that question. What do you believe it needs to be? Relationship to yourself. Who are you to you? What does it need to be? And so that is, the unzipping of the story. That's the unzipping of the narrative. That's that Mercury retrograde represents us, taking off the dress, and no longer playing that role or that belief structure perspective. And I have a feeling that so far, so I'm already having with colleagues and other things where I have always believed and they have always followed what I believe, like this is what the vision is. But now they're questioning, like, I don't know if you know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, after 18 years, I must not, I must not, like, okay. So there's that moment. And the question is like in those moments, I'm not sure. I'm just talking philosophically to you because you can feel that those people are meant to walk the earth with you. You can feel psychically the ones that are going, the ones who aren't. And so what you're up against is that someone has more work to do than the other, right?
I mean,
Has more.
that's the story of our life. I mean, like this mission, as we've been growing, people come in and we've accepted this. They come in for a period of time. They have our reflection, their reflection. And then if we choose to stay there, they stay. But as we move forward, they have to move. And we have people that come in and out of our story. And it's what we have noticed is every year it'll be the Libra come in or the Tauruses. They always come in at the same time every year, and it's just new faces.
What was it last year then? The sign it came in.
Well, okay, last year. Okay, so last year we started our retreat yesterday,
Mm,
and in Costa
right.
Rica,
Yeah.
and that was so. It was so for us. It was the first part of a new part of our business because we hadn't met
Mm,
people in person,
right.
and this year we're now going like we're literally going into mainstream television networks and stuff like that at the exact same moment.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Mm,
and the other thing too is Tauruses all around are coming have been popping up, like
hmm.
literally,
Yeah.
like people that I haven't Grandmaster Tauruses, people I haven't talked to in a year. They're like, "Hey, I'm just thinking of you. Hey, if this is all over the place." And then on top of that, I've had one Grandmaster Leo, and then a wicked amount of Geminis coming in.
Mm, mm, mm. Interesting. Well, I've definitely seen the Geminis. I've got
The
Geminis.
Geminis are I can find them anywhere, and they're always like it's always like a 5 degree,
What do
or
you mean?
or or
Oh,
like
first level.
or a 21 degree, a 5 degree Grandmaster Gemini, or a 21 degree. Like fives and 21s are all over the place. Like
Mm,
literally, and a couple of 23s.
yeah. Interesting. The well, I'm seeing Gemini's pop in everywhere. Like, I always like, what's your sign? What's your sign? I'm getting Gemini all the time now. I'm like, I haven't, I can't recall the last time I had a Gemini pop in. Then my
Well, that's
son.
what
So
that's what I'm saying. It's like
yeah,
it's not just me; it's you. It's like
right.
there's something happening. I feel that the
Let's
Tauruses are
do it.
coming. Gemini is
Mhm.
about thinking and communication. So it's
Yeah,
like the universe is getting ready for us to manifest this new way of communicating. Which for you, I know what you're doing, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening for us too.
yeah, totally. I mean, we are setting up. Yeah, we are setting up a new way of communicating, and everyone's got a label for it. Like, uh, but with the Gemini's, they suddenly just they were so closed-minded, frankly. Like I'd given up on telling them anything. I mean, I had these disclaimers, like, you're free to think what you want to think. Like that would just come out of my mouth, any Gemini. You're free to think what you want to think. Like I'm not trying to force you to think differently, because that will at least let them hear it. Otherwise, it just bounces off. Now they're like coming to me like, so what do you think about this? I'm like, are you shitting me? You're asking me what I think? What I think? Like, you're not the one that knows everything anymore? So I'm really surprised. Tauruses too. Tauruses are ready to get pregnant. Like they just it's been an uphill battle for Tauruses since 2018 because Uranus in the sign, and it's uncomfortable as hell for Tauruses. And now that bull's starting to get a little red eye, a little red eyed, and ready to like pounce. So we're seeing a lot of that. Lots of
Yeah.
Tauruses. I mean, in our organization, I think we now have 7 Tauruses working for us. Yeah, yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of both.
Yeah. So it's definitely been clusters. Like and since I know the astrology of every single person I interact with, every Uber
Mhm.
driver, every store clerk, I ask
Yeah,
every single person,
me too.
and I see repeating patterns. But the one thing I see is a lot of really when there are people that are taking us somewhere, driving us somewhere, picking us up, meeting us. So I see a lot of like 20+ degrees in every sign, like insane, all over the place.
Mm, interesting. Am I seeing that trend? I haven't really noticed that trend per se of being proficient master. I think because you're
I,
29, you're
I feel like I'm attracting them, but I mean, it's like a grandmaster cancer picks me up. Like and like 29 degrees are popping up all over the place. Like literally,
yeah,
hey, how are you? What's your name? When's your birthday? It's like this. I'm like, no way.
yeah, yeah. I'm getting that too. The 29s are coming to us too for those reasons. Because they know that it's time. Like they're
It's
being
time
called
to
they're being called to stage.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I feel that the other ones, and what I notice in the group is the ones that are here answering the call are having this acceleration. The ones who aren't it's like somebody is like stole their dog, kicked them, and shooting them at the same time.
I'm literally getting. I've got some people on the line who are just like, no, this happened. No, this happened. What's the matter? It's just like their life is literally just decaying. It's going down
Yeah, yeah,
a faster, slippery slope.
yeah.
And
That's
you
what I
hear it,
feel
you're like,
like.
Jesus, this person doesn't get a break. But at this point, I think the show's over. So once the show's, I mean, like the Titanic's going down. So yes, the chimneys will fail. There's no booze. The band can't play. Like everything starts to fail. Everything, everywhere. When you're on the wrong ship. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, if you're having just chaos around you, it's not bad luck and it's not a bad spell. You're on the wrong ship. You know,
Well,
and you better get off
you know
fast.
what's funny because when you say that, by the way, this VT dog lover, if you're 29 in your sun sign, please send me your chart. We have a group for you. Um, it's it's like I can see the chaos happening around me, but it's not affecting me. Like I literally, it's like I got a wall. I was describing it as I'm driving through shit, and the windshield is just blowing it all off as I'm driving. That's
Mm,
what it feels like.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the faith. What appears so there's chaos, and I'm being accused of the cause.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like,
Hey, dude,
okay,
I'm always used to being accused. It's like
of the
we
cause,
were
yeah,
talking about this the other day because what I'm driving is a belief system, and when people want to leave, they if they believe in what we're doing and they want to leave, then they have to point the finger at somebody, and they have to point at the belief. And
yes,
so I represent the belief system. That's been, I mean, I used to get this in companies and I didn't understand. Like I've never even talked to somebody and they're like, you did this to me. And I'm like, I've never even said anything to you.
right, yeah, yeah, that's true too. That's unfortunate. When people have to create a false narrative to exit.
I, yeah, I
And
mean, I get it. It's like if I've been in situations, I mean, I've done it myself. I believe in something and then I need to leave. I find reasons to leave. I have done that like so many times myself. So I get it. I understand it
right,
because,
hmm
like, I mean, I got involved in churches and Christianity and Kabbalah, and I got
hmm
involved in businesses and ideas and concepts. And at some point, I needed to leave because
hmm
something didn't resonate. And
right,
one of the ways that my old way of doing it would be I would start questioning and complaining and doing stuff and poking out. And that's how I used to do it. Now I'm
hmm
like, I feel like I should leave.
mm, mm. Um, am I leaving anything? No, I'm letting them leave. Um,
But
but I'm a Taurus. I'm the island,
yeah,
So so I'm letting people leave. Whereas before I used to fight, and some people
yeah,
are like,
yeah.
"You're not going to fight for me?" No,
I
like
saw this
no.
funny reel on TikTok the other day. A girl comes up to her partner and says, "You know what? It's not working out. I'm going to leave." And he goes, "I it's time to end this, change this, and go." And he goes, "Okay. Sorry to see that. Have a good life." And she goes, "What? That's it? You're not going to fight for me?" And he goes,
Right.
"Well, you just said you wanted to leave." And then that was it was a joke reel, but that's kind of what's happening, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, it's a game too. Like we're playing this game, or what am I, a knight in shining armor? I can galloping over and swoop you up? Like no. If you don't know you're supposed to be here right now, go. It's been sort of my attitude. So we can get the one that's supposed to replace you. Like let's just move this on. Get this thing going. I think people want to have that. That's for the 29 anyways. Like so, for instance, it doesn't have to be a 29 day. The relationship could be at step 29. You know what I mean?
Right.
The job can be at step 29. The contract can be at step 29. And at
Yeah.
step 29, it's like the 2 to the 9 is what is my ego going to respond to? Like, I cannot say this enough to everybody. The test is if you respond to their feelings or the way they make you feel. So, and even in my case, as they're saying, this is not appropriate for them anymore, they're insulting me left and right the whole time. Like, so I'm just like taking punches, but I know that I can't respond to the way they're making me feel.
Right.
I have to respond to how I feel on the inside, how I'm going to be there for me and keep the emotions neutral for myself. That's the way out karma free. If I sit there and go, you're insulting me as you walk out the door, like if I put energy into that, I'm signing up for it again. You
Yeah.
know, that's why it's a grandmaster degree. It's complicated, that
And
last degree.
And that's Thursday, and then coming into Friday, we're 0 degree, right?
Yes, I mean that's Wednesday night into Thursday.
Oh, Wednesday night and Thursday,
When it
0 degree.
comes to 29, I mean, I believe that when you wake up to a step, that's what rules the day.
Yeah, fair,
So
fair statement.
on Wednesday, the goal is to manifest something,
Okay,
but
and then
29 gets in the way of that.
and then
Around
Thursday.
then Thursday is zero Sag, and here's what's really interesting is, there's no things. Usually zero Sag is Thanksgiving,
Oh,
but it's been moved this year, dude. Whatever. I don't know if the Indians are busy and the Pilgrims. I don't know what happened, but like we moved it to the last weekend of the month, which has screwed me in timing all month because I kept looking at that third weekend and kept planning stuff around it. And,
every
you
four
know, then
years it goes to this weird last
I
weekend
guess it's
because
leap year
it's
then.
yeah.
This
So
is
yeah,
leap year.
so they moved it, and so that 0 degree Sag is gonna feel weird, right?
Well, yeah, it always feels weird, but we think it's our relatives. Like we we think it's the damn turkey. We think it's the stuff in the turkey. Like we project it on other things, that weirdness,
So we
right? Like
won't have
Thanksgiving.
we're not gonna have Thanksgiving to project it this year, so we're gonna be
Exactly.
in ourself.
Right.
Okay,
Or
and
left.
then Friday we're gonna be 1 degree, and
Right. That's
and
usually Black Friday, where people will go rushing to shop stuff. You
yeah.
know, and so and that's they're all happy to go buy. And now, now there's what's going to happen? Where's your happiness going to come from if you just can't consume like that, right? So
And
God's
do you
taking
think
away.
Friday would be a good day for sales?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. So it's gonna be ultimately, though. I think that this is a very private journey. Um, That's what I found. I mean, if I'm to say anything, I am the cheese that stands alone in the farmer and the bell. You know, and the cheese stands alone. The cheese stands alone. Hi, Ontario. The cheese stands alone. I am the cheese that stands alone. And the mouse might take the cheese. So I got to be careful. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is a moment where it's between you and God. Like I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of support. Even if people support you, they're too busy with their stuff to support you.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like people who are on your side, like I love you, dude, but I got my crazy grandmother. Everyone's got their own stuff, so we will be like, I don't know, will we be thankful in the traditional Thanksgiving energy? You know what I mean? Like, will we be grateful? I guess that's maybe the private lesson that you're gonna have to be grateful without a national holiday.
right. And then then we got 2 degrees on Sunday, which is that Sunday?
Yep.
And,
Yeah, 1 degree is
and
actually
oh,
Saturday. There's split
1 degree
degrees.
Saturday, yeah. And then
Yeah.
Sunday is 2 degrees, where it's got for me. I find 2 degree, especially in Sagittarius, it's like for me that's my I super feel what I believe and I don't believe. Like I know that every year. That's like I'm like supercharging that I'm gonna do this or not.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that 2 degree. Well, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, going to Old Thanksgiving, it's like you can't get to the airport fast enough to get away from your family. You're just like, get me out! That's fucking no one this way, no, that's family. No. And so a lot of times people don't fire it up like, that's a place. Of course it's late. Of course. But I think really, but on the flip side of that is also like, when you put on your headphones, you're just like playing that anthem of yours, and you're being reminded why you're amazing, and you know, um, so it's an inspiring. It can go both ways. It's very passionate. You get very passionate about believing yourself or not.
Yeah.
And you might also, a lot of times you have a wake up call at that point where you're being honest with yourself because your feelings come in and you're saying all this stuff and you're like, no, that's not true. This is what I really feel.
Right. Yeah, it's like come to
So
Jesus with your feelings this Sunday.
yeah, totally.
And what
Um,
I guess it's for me what I believe about my feelings, because my feelings are, yeah, I do all this stuff and then I have this I like push through, and then I sit with it, and there's a feeling that's associated with that, and that's the part that Sunday's going to deal with.
yeah.
And
The feelings catch up to you. Yeah.
and
And
then Monday when we talk again, we're Grandmaster Sagittarius.
we are. But I'm not sure if it'll be 4 by the time you and I get on the phone. But actually, Mercury station's retrograde.
On
So what
on
happened?
Grandmaster Sag.
Yeah. So it's like
Oh wow.
I believe, and cut. Mercury retrograde, two. Like it's like right at that moment. I believe. Okay, we got to rewrite everything. Fuck it. Mercury retrograde. Like so, it's like time to rewrite the entire essay based on what you come up with. And I
Right.
think again because Thanksgiving isn't this year to distract us and project and blame everything we're feeling onto our relatives that started this whole mess. I think you really get to the truth this year in the absence of Thanksgiving of what you really feel and what you really believe. And I have found that the she stands alone. Like there's sometimes in your life, especially if you're an influencer, I don't mean on YouTube. I mean someone who's making a change where probably 70 to 80% people wonder if you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's you have to be that's part of ascension. Your belief has to be more powerful than the masses' beliefs.
Yeah.
You have and stronger and more resolute.
And with
So I think yeah, I
Mercury
think
in retrograde, it's gonna feel like you have to actually use your energy to believe, isn't it?
I think most people question. Like I think people take the entire retrograde to question it, and when they get to Mercury at 6, it's like, well, are you a nutcase? Are you a nut job or not? Like Mercury at 6 is do what do you believe about your relationship to yourself? I'm a harm to myself. I'm right or I'm wrong. Like what's my relationship with myself? Am I right or wrong? Is quite simple. And am I basing it on me or am I basing it on what other people are saying? But I'll tell you, I don't know about you, but Mercury retrograde for me is the Rocky music goes on. I see the whole city is like busy doing their own stuff, and I just like boom, like floor the car and start driving as fast as I can for the goal and get as fast as I can ahead in the Mercury retrograde, building and doing what I've been planning the whole time. Because suddenly everyone's so distracted, I have no resistance.
I mean, that's what for me, Mercury retrograde, the same thing. It's like everybody's off dealing with their shit, and I'm like full speed ahead. Yeah. I mean, I
Totally.
watch. This is why I consciously make sure I start all my manifestations that I want to work in. I'm very conscious about before we come up to the retrograde to have it started beforehand.
Hmm. Me too. Or find that it has
Yeah.
already. Like
Or something
usually
like that.
Mercury. The way I operate is, I'm doing much more than I have the energy or time for, um, and stretching myself thin, and then a retrograde catches me back up.
Yeah.
So by the time
Yeah.
people like it goes direct, you're like, "Ding, I'm standing next to a new house. Like, how did that happen? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess luck's on my side. You know, so I think this year, but I'll tell you, like for most people, I think people are unhappy with the way things have turned out for the most part. I also see a school of people that are just ecstatic and excited. And so I think this Mercury retrograde is, well, what am I going to do about it? You know, am I going to let this, affect my beliefs? What do I believe in? Can I overcome this or not? So for most people, it's man versus the world.
Right.
Where they're still so stuck on the struggle bus and they're wondering what they're going to do next. For me, it's like, okay, it's time to stop thinking like man versus the world. Like just get out of that because it's programmed in all my thinking everywhere. I'm constantly catching myself caught in it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of me letting myself out of those old hooks
Yeah.
and those
I,
time.
I completely resonate with that because I have spent my life creating a problem to overcome it because of all that Aries and Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And for the first time, it's like for me, I'm like, wait a second here. I'm creating this. So why, like, there's a better way. And the better way is to, I don't have to create the problem. There's enough problems that come at me that I can get solved. I don't have to conspire to make it worse. That's the big change for me, I would say, in the last 24 months.
Mm.
You know, by the way, it's super funny because I came back to Mexico after being away for a couple weeks, and dog Sky completely. There's something changed in me because that dog follows me around, sleeps outside my door, never gave me any attention before,
Mm.
and and it's like so. I know that something's changed. The dog's telling me something's changed, and I'm waiting for this reflection in the outside world because I still like I don't see a lot of other people other than my own crew here.
Mm.
But I feel like this moon, that was a change. Like I feel like the apple cart tipped.
There's a pagan New Year. So the sun killed off the old and the moon released this relationship to what it was creating. We got off of that assembly line, and then we got onto a new assembly line, a new of what we want to create. So that was the timeline shift. And it was right after that moon that I divorced, so to speak, from a couple of lifetime friendships or connections.
Yeah.
Um, and but I saw it all coming. I was like, to
Sure.
me, I tried to the very end, and I'm also, for me, for those people who are having a hard time with that sort of thing, it's 24 nets to a six, so it's relationships that go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be letting go of relationships, 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 and it's some of it is like I'm being judged by others that the relationship didn't work out. So it's also complicated that way. But they're doubting
Yeah.
my relationship to them because they saw my relationship go down with someone else. So it's like a
Yeah.
chain reaction kind of situation. But anyways, you got to remind yourself that right now we're in heaven asleep in a dream, and when this bad dream is over, you're gonna wake up and they're gonna be right there.
Yeah. Be
One
nice
of
to
our
them now
teachers.
because be nice to them on the way out the door because you're gonna be spending time with them again.
Oh, totally. I mean, anytime you go to a psychic medium and you talk to your asshole dead parent, the first thing they do is like they say, "I'm sorry." Like they all say, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize." As soon as they get up there, they're like, "Yeah, you didn't realize you were an asshole the entire. Let's go over these records." You know, so they see it, and they see it from the heaven perspective. So the thing is, we get a little too attached to how important these relationships are. They're really just they're just beacons of go this way, don't go that way.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
they're close. Like I love you, but our real relationship is not here. The one
Yeah.
that you're caring about,
I think
and you can't
I think
really.
that's what you're you're talking and like even watching you and your conversations. You're now talking like we're in Aquarius,
Mhm,
whereas even a month ago or 2 months ago, you were still talking like we were in Pisces. And
mhm.
so my observation of you is you've moved into Aquarius.
Yeah, man. Actually, that is a huge headline that we didn't talk about. I don't know how much time we have because I can't see
Yeah,
anything past the
Capricorn.
sun.
We can take a minute. Capricorn going in, sliding into Aquarius now,
Pluto, yeah, Pluto goes into
or Pluto. I
Aquarius.
mean,
Yeah, on tomorrow.
yes,
Tomorrow.
yes.
So tomorrow it's 3:30 Eastern time. Pluto goes into Aquarius. Now here's the thing, man. I remember when Pluto first went to Aquarius because I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, in trapped in my house, on meds that I was trying to get off of, medically prescribed, by the way, everyone. Um, and the moment Pluto went into Aquarius, I was like, I just perked up, like, and I thought, and I was still kind of having a hard time, but I still made my way to the ephemeris, like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what happened? And I look at it like, oh, Pluto in Aquarius. My point is, like, I have never felt such an energetic shift from Pluto ever in my entire astrological life than the difference between Pluto Capricorn and Pluto Aquarius. You just suddenly feel this weight lifted off of you, like a mask taken off. So I actually feel that's actually a positive thing because you suddenly feel supported to go where you belong. Because
Fair statement. And that's happening tomorrow,
yeah,
right?
tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern time. So right now it's like,
I feel that I felt the weight lifting today of those things. Like it hasn't happened yet, but I could feel it coming.
oh yeah. Do I feel it coming? I didn't feel it coming, but you just reminded me. So thanks.
Yeah.
I'm still, I'm still in Pluto and Capricorn. It's like, you sure you don't want to sign up now? Could lose the house. What about the equity? Like, that used car salesman is still at the front door of Pluto in Capricorn. Like, are you sure? Because you don't want to miss out on the sale. Like, I've said to people, Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto is Scorpio, and Capricorn, of course, is a business person. These are the two signs that will you'll see their hand go down with the ship. Like they will hold on to till kill themselves, like to the very last moment. They will not let go. They're the most determined. So you literally, it's the last hour, 3:29 tomorrow. They'll be like, "Are you sure? You want to be a part of this crazy thing?"
Yeah,
And then as soon as that
because
lets
I was
go,
having some conversations today with different people, and I know that decisions are going to be made tomorrow as a result. So I'm gonna sit back, grab a mai tai, virgin of course, and I'm gonna watch it.
yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I have something to live for tomorrow. Because it does feel so much better to Pluto in Aquarius. And even when Pluto went back into Aquarius, again, because it retrograded back, I felt much better.
Yeah.
I felt the heaviness of Pluto and Capricorn. So we're about to have a lot of. Here's the thing: when Pluto goes into Aquarius, you're just not going to give a shit. You just don't care. You have the power to not care at all. That's really what it is, the power to not care at all. And that is such a superpower.
Thank Jesus. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna care. Yeah,
right.
yeah. And actually I think the world's gonna accept the fact that I don't care, because I already don't care.
Yeah, the irony and the paradox is now Aquariuses do care, whereas before they haven't. That's always interesting. Now they care. I've had a lot of Aquas come into my life, actually. Like being
Yeah, yeah,
loving,
lots of
sweet.
Aquarius. I forgot to mention Aquariuses are showing up all over the place, like in droves, like to the point where I always forget about Aquariuses, but they're like in the droves. Yeah.
Yeah, they're always kind of ghosting and, hiding in the corner and leaving the party, showing up late at the party and leaving early. And now suddenly they're hanging around helping you clean. You're like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's that.
Even happened to me in California yesterday, the day for yesterday. In Air One, Aquariuses are coming up, and then I'm trying to leave, and they're like still talking to me, and normally they would be gone. It's like it's already there.
Yeah, and so is the sentiment. Like, are
Yeah.
you okay? Who are you? Like, you can really it's a light night and day kind of thing. But it's beautiful to see actually because I've been wanting to see that in them my whole life. So the Aquarius I've been friends with, I'm really touched.
Yeah,
Because
that's really cool.
they're coming, the lights turning on. And when I talk to them, it's because the fear is going away.
Yeah,
They're feeling the fear go away, and so now they're engaging more. So
yeah. So we got some things to talk about offline. I'll catch up. It's been crazy,
okay,
crazy stupid. I have an assistant now. Finally,
really,
yes, came in from Sweden. That's one we talked about. So
oh, that's terrific.
yeah.
I'm hiring a second.
And so we'll talk offline. I super excited about this week coming up.
Me too.
And I feel like I've been feeling, even though all the stuff been going crazy, I can just feel this acceleration, and I know it is for you too.
Yes, I can, and no one else sees it but me, so I look like a crazy man. But
Yeah,
that's okay.
forget
Yeah,
craziness. I see
yeah,
his empty. Okay, see you
yeah.
later,
I'm just
crazy.
crazy, buddy. All
Okay,
right, talk to you later. Bye. Love
love you,
everyone.
man.
Love you too.
Okay, if you haven't done it yet, go to our app, to our website. Go to our partners and go to Serious Joy. You can get it for $3.99. That's the app that we talked about. Sends me 7 messages a day, and they are precise at the time that I need them. Help me stay in balance. So it's super, super powerful. Encourage you guys to go do that. A couple things coming up that you should know about. If you haven't done it yet, our event November 30th. November 30th, it's Transforming Trauma World Tour coming to you right on Thanksgiving Saturday, coming into your living room. We've got Chris Witecki, we've got Deepak, we've got Raw of Earth. We're bringing the entire show right to you. Yes, gonna be cool. Super, super excited about that. Keep a lookout for our new coaching program. It's coming. And if you haven't done it yet, go behind the wheel. Go to our link tree and go behind the reel. It's insane. Okay. So happy to be back. I feel good. I love this interaction. I love sharing with you. So we will see you guys tomorrow, and I will be broadcasting this week, at least this week for sure, 8 a.m. Pacific time every day. So even if they don't notify you, 8 a.m., set it down. We'll see you there. Ciao.